As you may have seen in the announcement, gentlemen, the railroad incident event is about to release soon, followed by the twin Shupos banner. The event itself is essentially a railway building simulator. The rewards that are available on the tiles are not particularly impressive, but completing the event is still worthwhile. It is more efficient to focus on overall completion, rather than collecting every individual reward on the tile. That way, the cost will be lower. The free unit here is Aoba. She is a decent tank, cute, funny, and breedable in her own way. Her skill set is not especially impactful, so you can safely leave them at level 1 or 777 skill build. Having her at max level and with maxed gear is usually sufficient, and 4 stars is adequate based on my experience. Where can Aoba be used? One practical example is the Binarade, where she can effectively bait the laser away from other units. She can survive the full encounter in that role, making her situationally useful in addition to her appeal as a character. Now let's move on to the Shupos banner. Both characters are limited. If you are only able to secure one, both are strong, but Hikari is the safer choice due to her lower investment cost. At 3 stars with maxed skills, she performs her role well. Nozomi, on the other hand, requires significant investment, UE40 with all skills maxed to reach her full potential. For many players, borrowing Nozomi may be a more practical option. Hikari is versatile and pairs well with any Sonic DPS, while Nozomi is more specialized. Hikari overview. Hikari is a striker support who provides a Sonic damage buff and reduces additional X skill costs, all for a modest to cost X skill. The notable aspect is her ability to reduce additional X skill costs. For example, SP Hasumi's scaling damage. She reduces the extra cost by 2 without lowering damage. This works differently from cost reduction units like NY Fuka, UE or CEA who reduce base X skill costs. Hikari's effect applies only to additional costs and flat amount of reduction, which is reduced to additional X skill cost. If a unit does not use additional X skill costs, this effect will have no impact. Nevertheless, her Sonic attack buff alone, combined with her Live 2D, makes her a valuable pick. She is particularly useful in Grand Assault Shiro Kuro, Hieronymus, or other raids that benefit from low-cost Sonic buffs. Recommended build. 3 stars is sufficient, though higher stars provide more sustain. UE40 adds a short duration buff, though not a major one. Skill leveling is non-negotiable. Everything should be maxed for maximum effectiveness. Priority: X skill, sub skill, basic skill, enhanced skill. For gear upgrades, the second and third slots provide solid benefits when maxed. However, the first slot, gloves, which mainly increases attack and critical rate, offers little value, given her role as a supporter rather than a DPS, so upgrading it may waste of resources. Nozomi overview. Nozomi is a Sonic DPS who can function as both single target and AoE, though her primary role is single target damage and dealing AoE as a bonus. Her X skill has fixed placement, so it may miss if enemies move out of range. However, this is not often a major issue. What truly sets her apart is her sub-skill, which guarantees critical hits, removing crit RNG. The trade-off is stability and accuracy, but these drawbacks are generally manageable. Her sub-skill also provides permanent attack speed and critical damage buffs for the duration of battle. The increased attack speed helps her basic skill trigger more quickly, making further investment worthwhile. Her basic skill applies a Sonic damage buff, which significantly boosts her X skill output. Enhancing her further through her enhanced skill is also an option if resources allow. Investment considerations. Nozomi is powerful but of course need UE40, that is. If you lack Sonic DPS, borrowing her may be enough. In some content such as Shiro Kuro, you may need 2 Nozomis, though usually one team can manage. Usable content includes Grand Assault boss such as Shiro Kuro, Hieronymus, and the Tiphareth final restriction boss. Nozomi has an X skill strategy, where you use Hikari's X skill on her first, then follow up with her own X skill, and afterwards buff her with other supporters. This works because her X skill has a long delay before it hits the enemy. Depending on the distance between her and the target, This strategy is most commonly used in raid bosses, but it may also work in regular content. Final thoughts. If you can only spark one, choose Hikari for potential versatile in future content. Nozomi is strong but demands heavy commitment, and for single target Sonic content, players may prefer to rely on Mikong instead. However, Nozomi still has AoE capability, which may hold potential in future content. Looking ahead, Mikong will become the main Sonic single target DPS, and Nagisa will pair with her even more effectively. While Nozomi may not be completely outclassed, players focused on better versatile may prefer to wait for these future banners. If you have fewer than 20k Pyrex or cannot spark, it is best to skip. Even if these characters are limited and favorites, just save for the fest banners instead. That said, if you truly want the Shupos, then go for them and enjoy without regrets. Lastly, if you plan to invest resources into the Shupos, avoid rushing. Take it slowly, as you will need books and BD Highlanders to strengthen them, which can be farmed through Bounty Highway. Purchasing books or BD Highlanders direct and immediately is generally not worth it, since the content where the Shupos will truly be utilized will arrive later rather than sooner. Additionally, there will be a major update that was originally expected to release alongside the Fest banner, but will instead be available in the next maintenance. That is 1. EW or UE60, commonly referred to as UE. UE60 will be available after the next maintenance. For strikers, it provides a 10% increase in attack type efficiency, while specials gain an increase of 0.5 to maximum X skill cost. The improvements are not particularly significant. From testing, UE60 mainly serves to make the new Lunatic difficulty less punishing while still remaining challenging. If you are stuck at Torment, UE60 may not provide a major breakthrough, and may waste valuable resources if you invest heavily since UE60 are too expensive and required at least 2000 Eligma, so UE50 should be fine at this moment, except for free or farmable students, where upgrading is worthwhile since the cost is essentially free, and makes them somewhat usable again. Additionally 2500 Eligma will be distributed to Archive Recruitment. Certain free and farmable students will be moved into Archive Recruitment to reduce the chances of being spooked by units you already own. This system has its own spark points and increased rates for selected students. As a starting bonus, around 200 Archive tickets will be distributed, approximately 60 through level milestones, with the rest from the guide mission. In the future, this Archive ticket can be obtained through Free Pass, but Battle Pass has not yet come again. You can use these to spark one student you do not yet own that listed, or save them until more students are added. Whether to spend immediately or wait, depends on your priorities. 3. Gacha system adjustments. With the shift of farmable students into Archive Recruitment, there are also several adjustments to the main gacha. Obtaining a student on their pickup banner grants 100 LF on first acquisition, enough to make them an immediate 4 stars. Pulling the same student again that is already owned, but got them on their banner grants 200 LF, 100 for the first time, 100 as pickup bonus. Pulling and get the student outside their banner still gives no LF bonus. The bonus also applies when exchanging spark points, allowing you to raise them to 4 stars immediately. Example, if you obtain Nozomi on her banner for the first time, you receive 100 LF. If you get her on Hikari's banner, you won't receive the bonus. However, if you later pull Nozomi again on her own banner, you will receive 200 LF total, 100 for first acquisition plus 100 for pickup. Quality of life updates. Recruitment tickets. Single recruitment tickets can now be used in batches of 10, functioning the same as a 10 pull ticket. Premium store. Newly added, but from a free-to-play perspective, none of the offers are worth purchasing. Saving Pyrex for banners, especially wafers, remains the best choice. And that should cover everything. Then again, you may still want the Shupos at your side, even if their current versatility still unquestionable after the release of Fest Mikong and Nagisa. With that said, we may not have much time to discuss them further, as both are limited. Even if they are considered skippable due to limited usage, once their banners end, there will be no way to obtain them until a run next year. In that case, it may not be worth waiting, unless if you lack sufficient savings. That being said, perhaps it is better to obtain them not solely for their usefulness or meta relevance, but simply because you like them. I can understand that these Shupos are cute, funny, and moreover breedable. That should be enough to answer your question. If these are characters you genuinely like, then summon for them, regardless of how strong or weak they may be. In the end, we play for what we love. We seek honey, we love, and we breed. As always, Godspeed.